G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. Today's episode brought to you by our partners in crime, Neds. Obviously Origin not too far away now, 6 days away. Good God, that's moving quickly. Cannot wait. The teams have been announced. We've all had our say on it and whatnot. For me, as a New South Welshman though, I just wanted to talk about something that frightens the living hell out of me. When I have a look at this Maroons side, obviously, it's littered with stars everywhere. And this is a side, not featuring Cam Munster, not featuring Fafita, KP, Tino, Gilbert. The list goes on and on of stars that are missing from this Queensland side, which, obviously I know they'll get them back in the future, which worries me. But there is one absolute standout feature with this Queensland side that scares the life out of me. And I'm just going to go through the team list and see if you can pinpoint it yourself. Reece Walsh at fullback. Coates on one wing, Murray Tuilagi on the other side. Val Holmes and Hamiso in the centres. Tommy Dearden at 5'8", Daly Cherry Evans in jersey 7. Reuben Cotter and Lindsay Collins in the front row. Ben Hunt in jersey 9. Jaden Sewer on one edge, Jeremiah Nanai on the other edge. Pat Carrigan locks the scrum in jersey 13. The bench, Harry Grant, Mo Fodawaker, Jermaine Hopgood and Selwyn Cobbo. That is the 17 that Billy Slater has selected for next Wednesday night, Origin Game 1, 2024. Now, when I have a look through that side, obviously, I think they've got numerous players that are arguably, the best in their position in rugby league. Guys like Reece Walsh, right up there, the very best of them. Val Holmes, Hamiso, Tommy Dearden, Daly Cherry Evans, Reuben Cotter, Ben Hunt and Harry Grant. There's an argument that they are two of the best hookers in rugby league. Lindsay Collins, Pat Carrigan, I think he probably is the best 13 in rugby league. The list just goes on and on, but the thing that really stands out for me is just the age of this side. It is unbelievable. So if you have a look, we quite often say that, NRL players and halves in particular, but just NRL players in general, they sort of start to hit their best footy around that 26, 27 sort of mark, yeah? And it's probably when you're at your most composed, not your most mature, but I think it's the point, 27, 28 is where your maturity and where your body's probably at its absolute best. You start to get over that hill of 30 and you might find a few niggling injuries and whatnot. You might not be able to train, every single session, every single week, which is fine. But I think that 27, 28 period is sort of the apex of a footballer where it all meets and it all comes together from maturity, your body, like just all those little things start to come together. And I look at this Queensland side and let's draw a line at 26 years of age, yeah? So let's have a look at which players are 26 years of age or younger. You've got Reece Walsh, early 20s. You've got Xavier Coates, under 26. You've got Hamiso, under 26. Still very young Hamiso. I think, it was only 18 months ago Hamiso was a reserve for the North Queensland Cowboys. Now he's one of the superstars of our game, one of the best rep players in our game. Murray Tuilagi, also pretty young. Tommy Dearden, wasn't that long ago. He was leading the Broncos to a wooden spoon 3 or 4 years ago and looked like a child out there. Now he's one of the toughest guys in the league, throws his body at absolutely everything, but still only around about that 23, 24 mark. Still very young Tommy Dearden. DCE, the only one in the back line that is over the age of 26, along with Val Holmes, even Val Holmes, I was like, geez, Val Holmes won a comp with Cronulla almost 10 years ago. I keep thinking, okay, he must be 30-odd. He's only 28, Val. I mean, like if Val was to play to the same age as DCE, which he probably won't, but if he was to, he would still have 7 years of Origin left. It's unbelievable. Val Holmes is only 28 years of age. He doesn't look like slowing down. Has he been in the best form this year? Probably not, but his body's not letting him down or anything. And when he has his good moments, no one can get near him. I mean, for Val to be the oldest outside back out of this group, that is unbelievable. Keep in mind, Val Holmes is only 4 tries off being the greatest try scorer in Origin history for Queensland. It's unbelievable. When you have a look at Val Holmes, I didn't realise the other day until we're sitting on Bloke in a Bar. If you have a look at Billy Slater, he has scored 12 tries in Origin. Billy Slater was in the most dominant Origin side we've ever seen, and he played 31 games. 12 tries from 31 games. Val Holmes has played 17 games and he's scored 13 tries. His try-scoring record is incredible. The only 2 guys that have scored more tries than Val Holmes when it comes to Origin history is Greg Inglis and Darius Boyd. The left edge for the most the most prolific try-scoring edge in Origin history by far and away. It is unbelievable what Val's doing, and those guys did it in a lot more games than Val too, in a much more successful teams. His record is incredible. Only 28 years of age, still plenty of Origin left in him. Let's go to the forward pack. Reuben Cotter and Lindsay Collins. These two will be in the starting front row for Queensland for the next 8 years to come. They are set and forget guys, and already they are just absolute bona fide Origin players. You look at them and go, okay, I don't care what they're doing in clubland. I don't care what injuries they're carrying. I don't give a fuck what's going on with these guys. I know they will get to the Origin arena and they will absolutely dominate, and they've done it time and time again, both under the age of 26. So much footy ahead of them, it's not even funny. I mean, Reuben Cotter's only been a front row forward for the last 3 years. It is bizarre. Ben Hunt, another one that is over the age of 26. So we've got Val, DCE, and Ben Hunt at the moment. And Ben Hunt, he only plays 30 minutes. He just does his job. He comes on. And honestly, what Ben Hunt does best in the Origin arena is all between the ears. He is such a smart footballer. The way he gets out of dummy half and kicks to his corners and just keeps turning those gears every single time. As I said, he only has to play 30 minutes, Benny Hunt. Age isn't worrying him at all. Potentially his last Origin series. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays another year, another 2 years. That wouldn't shock me. Let's go to the back row. Jaden Sewer. Newcomer to the team, hasn't been there for quite some time. Picked over David Fafita. A lot of controversy there. I don't know, even Jaden Sewer. I mean, it feels like he was at the Broncos 10 years ago. It feels like he's been gone forever at the Dragons, at the Rabbitohs and whatnot. Another one, only 24, 25 years of age. Crazy. Jeremiah Nanai is 20 years old. If he was in America, he couldn't buy himself a drink. It is unbelievable what this kid has achieved so far in his career in a short amount of time. It is wild. Sorry, he is 21 years old. He could buy himself a drink. I take that back. 21 years of age, though. He's already played, he played for Australia 18 months ago. It's crazy. He's now, maybe not playing his absolute best footy, just looking at his profile. Of course, he was born in New Zealand. Shout out to you, Queensland. But the guy has got 10, 11, 12, potentially 13 years of first grade left in him, and he can do things that other people simply can't. Pat Carrigan. Honestly, I know he might not be the captain of Queensland, but I would be seriously considering him being my next captain of the Kangaroos. And I know that DCE is the captain of Queensland, and I get that. But you go into that Australian side and you've got, Nathan Cleary playing 7. I personally think Paddy Carrigan is going to be one of the best Origin players we have ever seen. And I've been saying that for a couple of years, and I feel so confident in it. The guy's 26 years old. He has still got so much ahead of him. It is crazy. And I think he is the absolute knockout obvious choice to captain the Maroons after Jolly Cherry Evans. I've said for a long time, I think when you get to the end of Pat Carrigan's career, he's going to be walk-up automatic selection in Queensland's greatest ever 17 ever, and I would go as far as saying Queensland's greatest ever 13. One of the best leaders in our game, and this is what scares me so much about a guy like Paddy Carrigan. They've got a guy that plays lock who's one of the key ball players and key voices in their team. He's a 30-year-old that turns 30 in 4 years' time. It is just insane. The next man off the bench is exactly the same. Harry Grant plays at such a high click. I think he's 25 years old, Harry. He's a 30-year-old who turns 30 in 5 years. The way that he plays his footy is like an experienced 30-year-old footballer. Other guys on the bench, Mo Fodawaker, still pretty young. Hasn't played his best footy this year. Still pretty young, got plenty ahead of him. Jermaine Hopgood, I think he's 23, 24, Jermaine. He's toiled away in reserve grade. You guys all know Jermaine's story. And just, we went out to Parramatta at the start of the year, sat down and interviewed him. And he is just the toughest motherfucker you could ever find. It is just ridiculous that at the age he's at, he's able to, one, be as smart as he is on the football. I think he's on the football field. His ball playing is just so underrated. It's not even funny. And I think this Origin experience is going to take Jermaine just to another level over the next few years. Mate, Selwyn Cobbo. Selwyn Cobbo is one of the most naturally gifted players I have ever seen. Another one, 21 years of age. He's 21. He's not even fully grown yet. He's 190 centimetres and 99 kilos. Selwyn is a big bit of gear who has some of the best touches from footballers I've ever seen, right up there with your Steve Renoffs, your Matty Bowens. His soft hands are just incredible, and he is lightning quick. And he's one of those guys, we talk about it all the time, The ball just happens to bounce for him, but Selwyn, also to his credit, just happens to put himself in the right spot all the time. People pretend like it's some sort of mad coincidence with Selwyn. He is an absolute freak. He's not making their starting side. He's coming off the bench as I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with him. If they have injuries, he's going to come in handy in the back line. But if they don't have injuries, honestly, at 99 kilos, 190 centimetres, if Slater puts him on through the middle and he absolutely carves us to pieces, I won't be shocked in the slightest. I've seen so many guys do it over the years, whether it's Cooper Cronk, Michael Morgan, Kalen Ponga, DCE. And I know that Selwyn's a very different player to all those guys, but I don't doubt that there is anything this kid can't do. He's an absolute freak, 21 years of age, once again. And then you go to sort of the extended bench, and obviously you're going to have a lot of young guys here, Pia Kura, Ezra Mam, but I absolutely love that Billy Slater has obviously identified we've got a really young squad here. We're missing a couple of key guys that bring a lot of experience. I'm going to plug a Felice Kafusi into this squad. 33, 34 years old, been there, done it all. Slater's played with him, won premierships with him, won Origins with him, knows what he's all about. He knows the culture that he's built up at the Dolphins. He knows that he's a fantastic guy to bring into this squad. And it's those little master strokes that you get from Billy Slater that stand out so much to me. They've got a young side. They're young. I wouldn't say they're inexperienced because some of the experiences these guys have had in Origins, Grand Finals, your Broncos boys, this sort of stuff, it's just incredible. But to plug a guy like Felice Kafusi in there instead of like a Dave Fafita, I think it just adds so much to this squad. Now, that's just the 17 that they've picked. You've obviously got young guys like Ezra Mann, Brendan Piakura, both have huge futures, huge to offer. Other guys like Beaufort Moore that didn't make the side, Jensen, a heap of young guys that will come into this side over the next few years and do really well. But the other thing that stands out for me is 4 names that aren't in the squad because of injury or whatever it might be that are also under 26. Dave Fafita, not in this team. I personally think, mate, the Titans played the South Sydney Rabbitohs in 2 weeks. Fafita's going to have 2 weeks, including a bye, to stew on getting brushed from this Origin side. I reckon he is going to absolutely explode against South Sydney in a few weeks, and you might find that this might be the making of Dave Fafita, that he's had his pants pulled down, he's been embarrassed, he's been the star in the headlines the last few weeks. Everyone wants him. He's the most wanted man. Everyone's trying to sign him. The Panthers, the greatest team we've ever seen, they want him. The Roosters, who only sign the best of the best, they want him. He screws up this whole thing. I don't know how it's all played out, but he ends up staying at the Gold Coast Titans. We then get to Origin. He's the informed second rower. He's the best second rower in the world for me right now. And Slater just goes, no, not in my side. I'm going to pick someone else. And for me, I don't know what the entire messaging is here. I'm not sure what Slater's trying to achieve. I have read this as Slater didn't like the way that he handled his contract negotiations. I don't really give a fuck what Slater's saying to the media. I don't buy that. I think there's more to this. But I think it's sending a message to Dave Fafita about how he conducts himself and how he needs to hold himself in order to be a Queenslander. And I think it'll be the making of Dave Fafita. I think we are going to get a very scary product off the back of this. I personally think he's going to play many more games with the Queensland Maroons. I mean, because Fafita's been around for so long and been around for the last few years and achieved so much, I think we still forget how young this guy is. He's like 23, 24 years old. It is unbelievable how much he's done. Obviously, you had the Broncos contract saga, the Titans contract saga, all this stuff. Like, so much has happened in a short amount of time that I think we kind of just assume this guy's older. He's just a kid with a huge future. And I reckon in years to come, this is going to be a moment that Fafita's going to look back in his career and go, fuck, this was a bit of a turning point for me where for the first time, I wasn't the main guy. I wasn't the guy that everyone wanted, that everyone was begging for. I think this will be a Slater masterstroke that we'll look back on one day. Tino, in my opinion, if he's not the best front row forward in rugby league, he's in the top 2 or 3. Can play 13, can play middle, just an inspirational leader. Tommy Gilbert, who I think because we haven't seen him play properly for 2 years now, I think we forget just how much of a talented player he is and just how tough he is. He's Origin through and through. Both those guys under 26. And, the biggest one for me, and he's 26 years of age. He won a Dally M last year. He was absolutely flying this year until he got injured. We'll see him back in round 20. We won't see him in this Origin series. Kalen Ponga, who, I'll be honest with you, if Kalen Ponga was fit and available, I don't know if he makes his side. Maybe because they picked Selwyn Cobb on the bench. Maybe they would have gone with KP there. Maybe that makes more sense. I'm not too sure. But I don't think he would have been the starting fullback. I think they would have gone with Reece Walsh. I think that Billy Slater absolutely loves Walsh. Walsh has done it on that Origin stage. The last year, I think he's done enough to hold that jersey. So to think that this side, I look and I go, oh my God, this is such a young side. It's crazy. And for Fifita, Tino, Gilbert, Ponga, another 4 guys that are 26 years of age or younger aren't even in the team. It is honestly, as a New South Wales Blues fan, this terrifies me. I lived through, Queensland dynasty not that long ago, and I'm looking at this side now and just going, my God, what they could do over the next 10 years with this special group of players. And this isn't including God knows what Sam Walker's going to do over the next few years. There's so many other guys. You got like Corey Horsburgh that's not making this side. There is so many other fellas that can come into this side over the next 10 years or so. And there is another 5 or 6 names that we don't even know yet. We aren't even aware of them yet that are coming through the grades right now with their eyes set on a Maroons jersey and playing for Billy Slater. It is going to be a scary 10 years or so. I'm making it sound like New South Wales has no one. We've got plenty of stars, plenty in the duffel bag. But this Queensland side and the way they are building, it is absolutely terrifying that all these guys feel like they're 28-year-olds, feel like they're 30-year-olds, feel like they've already achieved so much, when realistically, they're only getting started. And the experience they're going to get from just being around Billy Slater during these periods of the year and guys like DCE, Benny Hunt, Felice Kafusi, it is just wild. It is crazy. So as a New South Welshman, I'll be honest with you, I am shitting myself when I look at the future of State of Origin, because the prospect of all these guys being so young and having so much football to come, it genuinely scares me.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website